pastors who were mainly from mainland Protestant churches. The youth wing which was very militant, was full of charismatics and Pentecostals. So I didn't find in their literature ever calling those they are dealing with as dead churches and dead pastors. So it feels as if this local situation did not inform them to moderate this attitude. T.B. Joshua, I included him as a Pentecostal. But what I've done is that I've created a typology of Pentecostal groups, about 6 different types. So he falls into one. I call him one I call the modernists. Those who come from the African independent churches, but who have taken some of the Pentecostal elements and incorporated it. So I've included him as a Pentecostal. Then the Jesus attitude about love and forgiveness, how does it come in here? When the religious riots started, initially Christians were on the receiving end. But from 1987, some of the actors, they are here. From 1987, Christians changed their attitude. Christians decided that they were no longer going to be on the receiving end. And from 1987, Christians also adopted retaliatory attitude towards Muslims when they attacked Christians. And this came out forcefully in the religious riot of October 1991 in Kano, when the Igbos, in an attempt to defend their businesses, they had to launch offensive against Muslim rioters that were attacking them. And in the last 4 years, something that's becoming common is this statement from this, it is high time Christians all over Nigeria rise up and speak out in one voice to tell Muslims enough is enough, because not only Muslims have the monopoly of violence. Orisa Jeffo, who has taken over from Abishop, I've found him saying that in the past. So the Jesus attitude about love and forgiveness, it has a different meaning in the context of the religious riots, because Christians have decided that they were not going to be the victim all the time. Because those who are here, when they go on rampage, 50 churches burned, 2 or 3 pastors killed, a lot of things that have been the pattern of those religious riots. The Islamization thing, I said, there was a perception among Pentecostals and Charismatics that there's a grand design to Islamize the country. Whether it's real or it's still a perception, Mathematical Kuka will tell us. But in 1980, in the Khan in Kaduna, the youth wing, the most militant, populated by Charismatics and Pentecostals, they produced a booklet, Leadership in Nigeria. And that booklet was to analyze the way the government of General Ibrahim Babangida, who was the military head of states, how his appointments to them were calculated attempts to impose Islam on Nigerians. So all the key positions in government, in that book, Leadership in Nigeria, produced by the Youth Wing, they analyzed all these. So there were a number of issues like that that informed their perception that there was a plan. Whether it's real or not, I can't determine that. The Pentecostal missions to Arab country largely have been sustained by indigenous mission sending agencies from Nigeria. Just about 6 years ago, these indigenous mission agencies adopted what was called Vision 5020. And that before or by the year 2020, Nigeria was going to send out 50,000 missionaries. And a large chunk of this number will go to the Arab countries. Now, those who go out, they go out as professionals in other fields. Medical doctors, computer analysts, pharmacists, and so on. And then, or one or two cases, they go, those who have gone to Sudan, they go to students learning Arabic in the University of Khartoum. So when they go in, more or less like secret missionaries. But there are a number of networks, mission networks to Arab countries, which they affiliate with to be able to get in and then do their work. So I know a number of them who are located, but I've been under obligation not to mention their names and their locations. So some of them, they receive support from local churches, whether they are the mainline Protestant churches in this country or they are fringe groups or Pentecostal charismatics. I cannot say, but I know a number of them who have been there. Let's leave out the issue of today's challenge. The today's challenge did not come out as to promote an anti-Islam propaganda. What I'm saying that when the religious right started, when it started in the 80s, and today's challenge decided or was printing photographs of those who were killed, of those who were maimed, of those of houses burnt. It became indirectly the Pentecostals hatch upon it for their own perception. And if one takes a number of issues of today's challenge, I'm sorry because the General Secretary of the church is here, I have to be a bit careful. But when one takes, that's what one will find. Sometimes today's challenge takes an extremist position. And I think that was one of those positions that landed them in the court, because they had a court case with the Rosicrucian Amok in the early 80s. I think it was first decided in 1986. And the judgment at that time of 1 million, was it 1 million or 6 million, was awarded. 1 million, yeah, it was a big sum of money. It was awarded. They called the Rosicrucian Amok a secret society that Nigerians should not associate with, and that landed them in court. And interestingly, when the judgment was given, and Christians were called upon to donate towards offsetting the cost, interestingly, it was in the one Pentecostal church I was that the announcement was made that they were raising money to support today's challenge to offset the cost of the judgment. But we don't need to go into the debate of that. Here in the paper is much more detailed. I mentioned the Rehan Bonke crusade as an episode, a very important episode in the religious riots, because, as I've said, it was also in that the retaliatory